Okay, so to give a quick warning here, I'm gonna be trying out something a little different. Instead of writing out my scripts in different sections, I'm just gonna talk about whatever comes to mind first, so this might be a bit unorganized. Anywho, Gitaroo Man. This is an interesting game. Much like some of the other PS2 titles I've talked about on this channel, I remember first learning about this game through a demo disc, and considering the demo was stage 3, I found the game to be weird and random, but also intriguing. Now, I'm sure the first thing you're gonna notice about this game, like I did, would be the strange, colorful art style. My friend says it looks very anime to him, but I couldn't help to find the characters' body proportions and large heads to be too distinct and unique. Looking it up, I found out that the character design, and most of the art, was done by a Japanese poet and pop artist named Mitsuru Nakamura, aka 326. Yeah, your guess is as good as mine on that one. 326 apparently also worked on a manga called Ku and Kai, which just by looking at the cover art, I can tell the similarities it shares to Gitaroo Man's visuals. Which to me is awesome, as his art style is very visually unique and appealing to me, that has tons of personality and charm. Just look at the game's cover art. There's such a great use of colors and nice detail in the artwork here. If I had one complaint, it would be that the 3D models in the game aren't quite as good as the 2D art. That's not to say I think they're bad, cause I don't. They managed to translate the art style into 3D the best they can, and it's still full of that great unique charm. But I would have preferred them more if it was all done in 2D sprites instead. The strange visuals complement the game's story in all honesty. Yeah, you see, you follow this young boy here named U1, who, it turns out, is the last of the legendary heroes from planet Gitaroo, which means he owns the last Gitaroo. Now, what exactly does any of that mean? Fuck if I know. All I know is this means U1 can transform into Gitaroo Man and fight off evil with ridiculous guitar battles. To be honest, the Gitaroo aspect isn't all that important, cause it's more of a story about U1 learning to stand up for himself and growing some confidence, since it's shown early on that a local rich boy named Kazuya constantly mocks and ridicules him. On top of that, U1 lacks the courage to woo Pico, a girl he likes. So you're basically put on a bizarre, incoherent adventure involving UFOs, jazz bees, space sharks, and annoying old men. And you know what? It surprisingly kinda works. Yeah, it's super cheesy and stupid, but the game never takes itself too seriously, and it's satisfying to see U1 grow into a more confident person. So that gameplay. Took me a while to get to that. As you've probably been able to put together, Gitaroo Man is a rhythm game. And you know what, before we get too far here, I should be open about something. I'm not that great at rhythm games. That, and I haven't played very many of them. I mean, I've played the ever-living hell out of the theater rhythm games for the 3DS, and some rhythm mini-games, but that's about it. For me, Gitaroo Man has been one of the most unique rhythm games I've ever played, but with what little experience I have, I don't know if that's really saying much. But why? Why is this game so unique, you might ask? Well, it's how you play it and how the stages are set up that make it unique for me. You see that dot there at the center of the screen? Well, that's where you need to match rhythms, which will come at you on these glowing lines. Not only do you need to hit the X button and hold it at the right time to match the orange bars, but you also need to move the left joystick in the right direction to keep up with the glowing line. Thankfully, there is an arrow to help give you an idea of where you have the joystick pointing, though this only helps out so much because holy shit, this game is fucking hard. The glowing line will move quite often in later stages, and there are two things that make this difficult for me. One, the game is super goddamn picky about how close you need to be on that line, so the second that line starts wiggling, you might get screwed. And second, my thumb really starts to hurt and gets tired constantly pointing that joystick around, which might have something to do with how I hold the controller, I don't know. Combine these two and things get rather frustrating, especially when the line turns quite quickly in some songs, which I always mess up due to either turning the joystick too slowly or not turning it at a correct enough speed. Oh, but don't worry, there's still more. You see, there'll be moments when you need to press the face buttons at the right time as they come flying to the center of the screen, and timing is everything here. You can already guess the ways that I mess up with this. Basically, the dot has a much smaller hitbox than I expected to, and in later songs, these things are throwing you from like every direction. And I'm one of those type of people that the second I mess up on a rhythm too much, I lose it completely. Now, most of the stages have different phases where you can expect different things to happen. First, we have the charge phase, where the glowing lines will appear. During this phase, you need to hit the rhythms correctly to increase your health. Yes, you do have health in this game. I didn't call it a guitar battle for no reason. After all, this was published by Koei. Wait, what? This shocked the life out of me. I grew up on Koei with their warrior games, so seeing them do a rhythm game is actually kinda cool. The next phase we have is battle. Here you can expect the face buttons to come out and attack, as hitting these correctly will allow you to dodge your opponent's strikes. The glowing lines will also appear in this phase, and hitting them will allow you to do damage to your opponent, as you can only win stages by bringing down their health low enough at the end of the stage. Final phase acts just like battle, but it's mostly there to just let you know that the stage is coming to an end. There are a few stages that have only one phase, or change up the order of the phases, which keeps things more varied throughout the game, which is good, but I don't think it was really necessary since the gameplay, to me, is actually very fun. Sure, I have some issues with it, and there's still more I have yet to mention, but I still really love it. It's a very engaging way to play a rhythm game, and I hope to find more like it. I just wish the game wasn't so difficult, cause holy crap, this game jumps into difficulty after the first 3 stages, where I just can't catch up. Yeah, I used an action replay to see the other stages in the game. Speaking of which, fuck stage 5. Not because it's hard, it's really not that bad. It's just super long and very boring with how repetitive it is. Another thing that can get annoying would be the background images. And don't get me wrong, I like how fun the visuals can get, but when you start mixing up too many colors and images, it can get distracting and even make it hard to see where the glowing line is coming from. The stage layout is a bit inconsistent as well, like stage 4 and 7 are quite hard, while stage 6 is super easy. If there's one thing that isn't inconsistent, it would be the music. I mean, okay, stage 5 has an annoying song I don't like, but everything else is fantastic. We have such a varied soundtrack here with a J-pop sounding song, rock songs, grooving songs, and even a song with some Latin influence. Each song sounds very distinct from each other, and there's surprisingly some range as well, as the game has some super upbeat rock beats to low-key smooth, more emotional-like songs. My favorites being Twisted Reality, BGM Blues, Tainted Lovers, Resurrection, which is a super killer theme by the way, and both versions of the legendary theme. Seriously, here's just a snippet of that theme. Without a doubt, this game has one of my favorite soundtracks, and not just for the PlayStation 2. If you haven't yet, I would highly recommend giving the entire soundtrack a listen, or at the very least the themes I mentioned. I really am disappointed that I'm not very good at this game, like, at all. Because despite the issues I have with it and how hard it is, I really love the gameplay, which complements the game's music almost perfectly. There are some other cool things that this game offers too, like 2-player versus mode and collectible statues. Personally, I really want to get a PSP so I can try out Gitaroo Man Lives, the PSP port of the game, which helped fix some issues like matching the glowing line, not being as picky as a PS2 version, as well as offering an easy mode. While I'm not good at Gitaroo Man, I love this game. It has a fantastic soundtrack, engaging gameplay, and fun characters with a charming art style. I can see why this game is a bit of a cult hit, and I'd really like to see a sequel sometime. Though I don't think that will ever happen since the developers INIS now work on games like Osu. Either way, Gitaroo Man is up there as one of my favorite rhythm games, even though I'm shit at it. Well, hopefully you guys kinda enjoyed this experimentation with the writing. After doing the script the other day, I very much regretted trying out this style because turns out I much rather prefer having everything more compartmentalized and focusing my thoughts a little bit better that way, so I probably won't be doing this again. I also apologize if the audio seems like it's been kinda fluctuating in quality. I'm trying to keep it as even out as possible while trying out different things at the same time because I have an all-new computer that I'm doing the recording on now, so it's taking some time to get adjusted to that. Wait, I know what that sound means. A release date has been announced. Sorry everyone, but there's been a slight change in plans, cause next month, we'll be starting a new marathon.